not digital advertising, but print advertising on the placemats. And believe it or not, people get bored while they're waiting for their food, and they actually will watch every single slide as it goes through. So, anyways, with that said, it works for any industry. So to create a new setup, just come over here, and I'm going to do um, restaurant, restaurant one. I'm just going to say demo. Assign it to a client. Submit. Now here we see we have restaurant one. So if anytime you need to edit it, just come back up here. You want to enable this, of course. If they stop paying, you just come in here. Very simply, just click on this, and their kiosk stops working. To grab URLs, this is the actual URL that they will use on their device to display. And when it does, when it runs on this device, it'll load all the slides in, all the images in. So even if the internet goes out, it's not going to say we have no internet. It's not going to call in images and content from the internet. But there is something that's pragmatically inside of the code that'll check for an update every 10 minutes, and it'll automatically update. But if it can't connect, it still won't show an error. It's not going to break the display. It's still going to continue on. All this stuff's going to be stored into memory of the device. And then here's a QR code as well. If you ever need to clone one to make an exact duplicate, let's say you show your demo off to one restaurant, they like it, you show another demo off, well, all you do is click the clone button, change the logo out, and boom, you're deploying these pretty quick. So let me get into the customize here, show you how this works. So first, we need to determine our device size. So when you buy the device, wherever you buy it, it's going to tell you the actual pixel ratio of the device. So let's say I'm doing one that's 500 by 700. And Eastern time, this is for future use because eventually we're going to have timed displays as well. So let's say a certain offer only can appear like on Thursdays. Let's say on the ad display on the restaurant, they're just doing a one-day display. Well, we'll be able to do time displays as well, but for now we just do it empty. You can do a static. So the background you see here, because we have animations coming in and out, you'll see here as this slides into the next one, it'll automatically see the background color is gray. If you wanted to have like a image here, and let me save the settings here. I'll save the page. Then I'll draw this back up. It gives you a little bit more room to work. You can also come undo this, go down to see it more, or you can go in full screen mode, which I will do in a second here. But you'll be able to do like, you can, if you wanted to, for the restaurant, I could have like a grid pattern image and have the logo in the middle. So between the displays, as it's sliding through, it'll come through really quickly for like 1 second as it's changing slide like this. So there's the gray. So you can do an image or color. So what I'll do, I'll just set that to solid black, save settings. Alright. So I'm going to go into full screen mode here. So this is the first page. We're going to be adding another widget here which will allow us to put in shapes. And that'll probably be explained on another call how that's going to work, but that's going to be done tonight. So we want to start off our first display page with almost like a splash about the business, right? So we want to come in, we want to do a fade in, we want to exit with a fade out, and we want to show this slide just for the sake of this webinar to keep, so when I'm showing this live, things will go the slides really quickly. I'm going to set it to 10 seconds, but I want to choose my background image. So instead of a color background, I'm going to choose an image. I'm going to upload, and I'm going to find my background image. So I think I have this background right here, and let me slide this back up. You see this is the permanent background image. Now I have some options here. I can do contain with repeat. So whatever you want to do, you can do, but generally just the default settings will do. Like I said, there's no responsive stuff here. There's nothing responsive here. So if you're making a background, make sure the background is exactly the way the pixels are of the page. If you want it to fit exactly, make it exactly as such. Alright, next, so we want to start bringing in some elements here. So I'm going to do welcome to, so Probably gonna ask, why is the color blue? It's so you can see it. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably the best color, no matter what background you use. You'll be able to see when you add items. You'll be able to see the blue, and you can change this at any time.
Blue
So I'm gonna
light
come over here.
really
Let's go
pops
to.
to the eyes.
So I went to cursive here, and let's make this 20 pixels, or let's make it 30, and that'll be good enough. Close, and we'll just bring this up here, so we can move this anywhere we want. We'll do welcome to, and bring in another text content. Let's choose our same font again, which was this one here. And color. This one's probably going to be a little bigger. Let's do 30. And we'll call this one El Supremo Restaurant. Alright, so we got that. And you can see we can make this bigger. El Supremo Restaurant. And should be good there. No need to bold it. If we want to do like animations, so like as soon as this pops in, we can say welcome to, slide in from the left, and then El Supremo Restaurant from the right, and you just do your timing here when you want it to show, and then your entrance animation. If you leave this empty, it's just going to appear when the slide comes in. I'll get into this here in a second, how you can rotate things. You do some pretty neat things with that. So I'm going to close that out, center this up. Welcome to El Supremo Restaurant. Next, I'm going to bring in an image, slide that in here, double click. I want to find the image of the restaurant. So I'm going to come down here. I did have a landscape. Here we go. So here's a picture of the restaurant. It's loading in. There we go. Now what I need to do now is I need to resize it. So I'm going to come over here. Make it bigger, close, and bring it into the frame. Now, next thing we want to do is we want to obviously add some borders, make it prettify it just a little bit, and we'll make probably a 1 pixel border, just like that. And then we can determine if we want to do a shadow. We could go like this, or add a red halo. I'm just going to use a black shadow, call it good. So we got that. Now we have this pretty cool thing, like I said before. We can make it into a slideshow within a slideshow. So if I want to like just slide through different dishes, all I gotta do is click add more images and then do my animations for each one. So each one will fade in into this area here. So whatever you determine your first image is, the first size, everything's gonna fit this. So when you're making your images or bringing your images in, make sure they're all confined, otherwise they're gonna be stretched. So you do have to be a little aware of that as you're making things. All right, so I want to have a little bit of separation here between things. So the next thing I want to do is I want to add a separator. I'm going to come in here, and let's go ahead and click on upload. And I had a cool little separator here. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know if this was it. Yeah, this is it right here. So we want to come in here, move it where we want it, to the edge. So we have a cool little separator. Bring that right here. Next, we want to show off the chef of the restaurant. I'm going to bring an image in here, and then I'm going to choose the chef image that I have of the chef, if I can find it. Preview image is really small. All right. So there's our chef right there. Close that. I want to make him just a little bit bigger. And let's add a little border radius to him, 20 pixels, and we'll do a little shadow, just like that. Next, we want to do his name, text content, bring this in. Master Chef. And we'll do that font the same. Leave that. And we'll do this. Close that out, and we'll move this one. Actually, I gotta move this over here. Bring this down here. All right, so we got Master Chef, and then we will put his name. Kifio Gaetano. Gattanio.
I was gonna say you should get an image of the Michelin Man and pretend it's a Michelin rated restaurant.
Alright, so we do 40. Yeah, there we go. And then we'll do this like handwriting. Kipio Gattanio right here. Master Chef. And then we're going to say, put his credentials here. And we'll just do like
See,
2
Michelin chef.
stars. 2 Michelin stars. And then let's do this. We'll do this one like darker. Right here, just like that. 2 Michelin stars. And then what I can do here, so here's the neat thing. I don't know if it's a good time to do this. Maybe yeah, I'll do it anyway. Alright, so watch this. I'm going to copy it, paste it, there it is. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to make it smaller. And then I want to move it over. And here's what I can make this actually flip. I'll go to 180. Close enough. And I don't know. What can we put down here, Keith?
Well,
That's probably enough, right?
well,
Actually,
you just put
I'll do open every day.
On your Grand Tour in your GT, stop to eat with me.
10 a.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern time. And then we'll do that in bold. Make this like this color. Just like that. Alright? Alright, so now that we got our first one done, we now want to get into how I did this slide right here. El Awesome Restaurant. So what we're going to do, come over here, click copy. Just like that. Easy as that. Oops, let me delete this out. Let me copy this again. Slide this over. Alright, make this smaller, make this bigger. Now to move your stuff around, you just need to click outside of it. You're not going to click, this is not a window. You're just going to move it. This is for moving this around, but this is to move the whole thing around so you can play with it. So anytime I come in here, determine the things I want to remove on this next slide. So I'm going to remove that. I'm probably going to make a copy of this, paste it, paste, bring him up here. Actually, I think it's because I have too much space in here. This guy right here. Should let me take it all the way up. I think there's, oh, you know what? The image has too much padding at the top. So let me remove it. So the problem with this image here is a bunch of blank space and it's trying to kiss it to the top. So the right thing to do would be to cut this image before you place it in so it can be sized perfectly. Anyways, all right, so we wanted to do like a deal here. So I want to keep this like static text right here. So all I would do is come over here and remove that. Now I want to do a deal. First thing I'm going to do is off your next dinner. Off your next dinner. And I want to make this a dark color. And we can probably make that, see there's that padding up there hitting that. Which I'm going to explain to you later how we have a solution how to fix this. Make this bigger. 30. I'm going to make this guy come over here. Now we're going to do
Should just be
30% off. So
I was going to be.
Bring some new text in here.
You could do whatever the current rate of inflation is. You can take off your ticket.
Yeah, 30%. And then
It's a moving target.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like they have to that day, whatever it is, they get to discount that off their bill.
All right. So now I have these two things. So what I did white font shadow color black so it kind of pops out a little bit. So what I want to do is I'm going to bring this over here, bring this guy down. Now let's get into the rotation. So we're going to go boom, 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 just like that. Grab this guy, rotate it, 30% off your next dinner. Just like that. And I'll bring this over here, bring this over here, just to line things fully. Now obviously you want to have a scan me, so let's go to our image, slide this in, and let's find our scan me right there, close, and we want to resize it just like that, 30% off. So that's the next slide. So let's figure out what we had our things timed at here. So we had 10 seconds, so whatever we copy is going to inherit to the next slide. So we're good there. So in order for this to actually work in the preview page, to make it live, it has to be part of a connection. So you have to connect these just like that. Now this slide will go to this slide. Otherwise, it's just going to skip. If I did another slide here, I do copy, just like that. To remove, you do right-click, X. I can totally skip this one and go to this one if I wanted to. So I do right-click, X, close that out. So this is our next slide here in our list of slides. This one right here. This is the one where we're using the poke me feature in the, what is it, I forgot what it's called.
Service ready.
Oh,
Service ready notifier. Service ready notifier.
Yeah, service ready notifier. Okay. All right. So next we want to do the slides for the poke me. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this stuff out. Remove. I hit remove on the wrong one. Remove. Remove. All right. I'm gonna do copy here. Paste. Primo Restaurante. Whatever. So I'm gonna bring in the image of our waiter. So here's our waiter.
Giuseppe.
And we're going to do radius of 20. And we'll do a little shadow color. And we'll try to bring this like right here. And then we're going to say your waiter.
And we could make that a GIF, right? That could be a GIF image of him like saying hello.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll do Pierre. Gaetano.
Pierre Gaetano. Pierre Gaetano. Gaetano.
And we'll make this bigger. Pierre Gaetano. And then we'll say poke Pierre. How do we do it on this one here? Poke your waiter. So I'm going to do poke your waiter, text content.
With a restaurant with someone named Pierre, it's probably like request service. But yes, request service.
Let's move some things around here. Pierre Gaetano. Poke your waiter.
Yeah, poke's more honky tonk, but I like it.
Text the word Pierre to 670-909-2222. Okay, I'll make this same color.
Yeehaw!
I want to make this kind of stand out. So I'm going to do bold. I can also do highlight, choose a highlight color if I want to do it, but I'm not. So that's good enough. Now I want to like make this say or to poke. Oops, what did I do? What did I do? And I'll just put here, poke me now. And we'll just make this a big font. Make it white, shadow black. And we'll make this 30. Yep, that'll work. No, we like that. And then we'll do some rotation. Poke me now. Just like that. Scan me, and then I'll move scan me down over here. Poke me now. Actually, yellow would probably be better, right? There we go. So that's that slide right there. And obviously you want to do our connections. Boom, 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 boom. Next, we want to get into how we design this one here. Give us feedback. So what I want to do, I'm going to save this my spot here. Save pages. Next, I want to bring in another copy of this. Slide that over here. I want to get rid of all this stuff right here. So I'm going to do remove, remove, remove. And then, now that I'm doing all this removing stuff, it might be a good idea if you know a static layout you want to have. How did we do today? Leave us feedback. Please. Alright, so I want to do add vent. Just like that. Now I have that slide ready to go. Connect it. I'm going to get out of full screen mode. Save pages. Now I want to go back, and now I think our last one is our placemat type of ads, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
in theory, man, you could really charge for the time it's displayed for the time it's displayed. So let's say you were selling ads on here. You could say for a 10-second show per cycle is $39 a month. For 1 minute, $100 a month. So whatever you want to do, there's so many ways you can make money with this.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna bring in a new page here, just like that. Background mode. I think I have a car shop here somewhere, right here. You see it loads in the car shop. The next thing you want to do is you want to add a logo. So first thing I noticed when I had this logo, I had this little car logo I did, and it's right here. So first thing I noticed off the bat is I cannot see it no matter where I put it because of the way that the picture is. So let me. I'm then going to go to transparent PNG that I made. Where are you at? I think it's TPDG. So it's a perfectly clear background. So if I come over here and I just highlight this, let me put it in the space here. Click it. First thing I want to do is I want to change the color so I can find it. So I want to make this white background, just like that. Raise it just a little bit. Close. And we'll slide this here. You can see it be a little bit bigger. Just like that. It's probably too gray. There we go. So now we have a little bit of a mask that we can put our logo on now. So I'm going to grab the logo. And I'm going to now find my logo. Make this bigger. Auto shop. And next I want to do my 50% off any service, which would be unreal, right? Unless they charge double for it, then took off 50%.
Well, 50% off is almost at regular prices a year ago.
I'll do 50% off any brake service, and I'll do the big font. We'll do red, shadow color black, and let's make it bigger. And like I said, any element you see, you can have it entry and entrance animations as well as rotation. So 50% off any brake service. And now I can bring in, I'm going to do this, copy, paste, down here. And now I'm going to bring in this here, even though this isn't the right, paste, scan me. And because they paid a little extra, they paid for 30 seconds, I'll do 30 seconds. Connect it, done, and now I'll click on save. And now I'm going to click on preview. Now the very first time it loads, it's going to grab all the images, so it's going to do that loading for the one time. And then it's going to save all the images into the device. So if like I said, if the device is turned off or something is wrong with the Wi-Fi, it's not calling on for more content. It's using the content that's built and saved into the device. So it's constantly going to keep doing the same thing. It's going to check for updates. But as you see here, we have all of our slides completed now. And if I wanted to add a new ad after the last slide, then I can just plug it in. And in 10 minutes, it'll update on the device at the store or the restaurant and what have you. All right. So now that we have that,
so I mean, this segues into what was brought up the other day about the tabletop tablets, like the tabletop, like table toppers, but they were digital table toppers. So this plays right into that. Right. In programming those table toppers, those digital table toppers versus the cardboard fold-out table toppers, to really promoting what's going on in the particular establishment you're in.
So I want to show you here. I want to do copy. Oh, to do copy, just click on this here. Bring this over here. So if you get confused on things, there's a way to name your save. Now let's say this guy, actually to make this stand out, I want to do this so it's upside down. Nope, not that. I want to make my logo upside down. Let me bring this bigger. Slide it in. Close. Alright, so let's make this guy rotate. So let's do it again. Close. I want to rotate this guy right here. So what we're doing is we're going to add the ability to do layers on here, so you don't run into this problem I'm having. So what it's doing is, because I have this container too big, it's wanting to update this. But I want to make this stand out, so I'm just going to change the words then. Screw it. Alright, so I'll do 100% off. Then I'm going to click Save Pages. So I have this connected to here. So this guy's paying, this guy is eventually going to come on board, right? So if I go to Preview, and if I go to this here, it'll automatically go to the next slide, which is Add One. Give it a second here. And then this should go right back to this one up here. Give it a second. Oh, this is a 30-second one. Alright, let's wait 30 seconds then.
Where is the Jeopardy music? Yeah, you gotta play the Jeopardy music. Do 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 do.
There it goes. So now I went back to the first one.
Boom! Shakalaka.
So let's say this guy, we're going to expire this guy out. If I were you guys, I would never delete an action. You never know if they might want to come back, and you have to do all the work again. So to save it, just all you do is unconnect it. Just put it off to the side over here. And we'll bring this guy because he just started paying. It's a different shop. Now we click on save. Click on preview. And we can do Control F5. So as it's going through here, when we get to this slide right here, it should go to ad number 2, which is 100% off.
Yeah.
So now this guy is still in the system, but we're ignoring him because he's not paying it.
Right.
And you have the option here where you can show only active if you want, and it'll automatically show all the actives. And if you want to show only disabled, it'll show all that are disabled. To disable involves something else. So over here, click on the eyeball. And we zoom in. Click on the eyeball. Save. Now if I come over here, Control F5, you see here that he's turned off. Show only disabled. There we go. So now you have all the storage for all your ads in here.
That is so sweet. I love it.
So let me go. So you can do some pretty cool things. Let me just show you an example here how you can work with animation. And if you guys have a small screen, just click on full screen and it'll kind of get you where you need to go. And if it's still too big, toggle these buttons right here. This restores to 100%, and this will be exactly the size of the device. So if your device was 500 by 700, this is going to be exactly 500 by 700 on your screen. So if your screen is too small, you can just toggle it down and still do work on these slides if you want to. Alright, so let's do this. I want this to come in at 2 seconds. And I don't want to hide it, so I'm just going to leave this at 0. I want to make this kind of come in, if I can do it, rotate in, and there's no exit animation. Close, and let's put a save. Oh, I can save pages here. They must have just added this button here. So let's see if that works. Refresh. Go to this one here. Now I should rotate in that one text that I did. 2 seconds. There we go. Neato, eh?
Boom.
So we can make everything animate.
Very nice.
So I want this to come in first. Maybe this come in second. So I think I'm gonna have a layering problem here. Let's see if it works. I think it might work. Let's do entrance animation flash. We're gonna come in at 3 seconds. Exit whenever. Let's save and see if that's saved. Something tells me I might have edited the wrong thing, but let's see what happens. Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty awesome that I go into a 2-star Michelin restaurant, and after my meal I get 100% off any break service. That's amazing.
That ties right back into the Michelin, doesn't it?
Right? Yeah, it ties right back into being Michelin rated. Got to make sure that you can roll to the next Michelin star restaurant. So here you go. I love it.
Well, we are working out a few kinks, but everything is pretty much ready to go inside of the system here. I want to kind of get into how to do this for actual digital menu. So I'm going to get out of this, save my changes, go back to setups, Oh, almost forgot. So here's restaurant one. I'm gonna grab this URL, copy it, paste it in my browser. So this is like a pre-training for like the digital menu on a 4K TV or a 1080p TV. It's easy as going like this. So obviously we're going to have the dimensions of our screen, right? Of our TV.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure it's either has Chromecast or it's a smart TV because you're going to want to connect to it. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to take a picture of it. I actually had to do the resizing because this is made for a small tablet. So I'm going to show what it looks like on my screen. It is high definition, looks good. Animation works great. So let me do a video. Go ahead and do some color.
Yeah, I figured. So, I'm imagining, right? Like, I like that scan me QR code, and so we can use our URL spinner, create your own QR codes, and make them colored and match the color scheme of the client, and add the verbiage that you want, and make it very dynamic and very cool. And there you go. This is pretty awesome stuff. And then we all tie it right in because we provide the URL and you tie it into the service ready notifier as your display screen, and you're up and rolling and rocking and rolling, as it were. Game over. This is awesome.
All right, let's see if this saved. It's super clear on a digital TV.
Well, can you just share the URL for it so people can run it on their own system and see what it looks like?
Maybe I gotta share it on Skype.
Yeah, share it there, then post it, and then people can see it on whatever they're using, their monitors or whatever it is, and they'll see how dynamically awesome this is. That's I think, paramount.
All right, let me pause my screen here for a second and open up Skype. It's super clear on a digital TV. All right, let me see here. I gotta figure out I gotta get it off of Skype and onto my computer now. Save as. Get it on my desktop. Save. Let me see how it looks. It's super clear on a digital TV. Of course, the video is not clear because I didn't have the highest settings on the video, but it is super clear. It's super clear on a digital TV. All right. So let me bring Windows Security. Oh, screw you. Anyways, let me bring this back up. All right. So let's get into digital menus. So, as I talked about earlier, and then you create a new setup. Make sure that I'm sharing, which I am. Digital menu. Demo 222. And choose my client. Submit. And check off that. All right. So typically, like a 1080p TV is 720 by 1080. So with that said, with that known, you come over here, device width. That's 1080. 720 height. And do that. Save settings. Now this is the exact size of a 1080p digital screen right here. All this content in here. first thing I want to do is my digital menu, is grab the digital menu. So they could have one made like this, like a screenshot, and then I could bring this into the digital menu as a background. So I'm going to do image. I think this image is bigger or smaller. I'm not sure. Let's do this guy right here. So there's our digital menu right there.
Sure. I missed it, but do we have landscape and portrait mode?
No need for it, because you're determining that by the device's width. So if you're turning that display into portrait, you're actually doing it 90 degrees to the right or the left.
So just swap those numbers.
You said you're going to do 7.
Yeah, just swap the numbers. Okay, got it. All right.
Just going to swap the numbers. So I'm going to go over here, click preview. Did I save it? Hope I did. Save pages. Preview. Oh, there it is right there. I have my screen too big. So if this was the big screen TV, that's how it would look. Now let me grab the URL here. I'm going to go back to setups. Grab the URL. And then go to this here. And now I'm going to do uncast that. And then I'm going to Chromecast this. Now, because I'm trying to do 1080p to a 4K, I gotta do this just a little bit. So what I'll do now is I'll take a picture of my TV. Now, if everything was correct as far as the dimensions of my TV, this would have fit from corner to corner, but it does not because I did not make it such. But just for the sake of argument, you guys are going to see what I see on my TV. And let me grab the image. Share.
Beautiful.
Display. You see, it didn't make from corner to corner because I didn't have the right dimensions of the image or my settings of the device. So this 4K, I should have done what is 4K dimensions. Let's look that up. I think it's like 32 4K resolution. It is 380/40 by 2160. So you're gonna have to really have like a high resolution image of that menu to do it. You could also make it from scratch. It's gonna make more sense probably tomorrow when we had the new feature, which is gonna allow you to slide in like the squares and stuff. So in theory, I could really come over here. You see how we have this fork here? I could come in here and go like this, and then make this like the size of this area here, then have it slide in like a picture of a pizza, and then add a picture of spaghetti, and then add a picture of a hamburger if I want, and then choose how long I want them to display, and the entrance and exit animations. So I'm sure you guys have been to McDonald's. They kind of have like all their menus like in this section and in this section, and they have like a special here. Right. And then here's like a place where they kind of slideshow like all their different meals. You could definitely do that with this system as well.
Very cool.
What you would do is when you're designing this area here, or if they provide you with the artwork. So let me open this up here. So if you want to have a dynamic area inside of your menu, let's bring this guy in here. Let's assume they had all the content in there. Let's come over here and make this like your display area. Make it white. And now you're going to go like this. Save as, and then this. And I'm going to name it so I can find it. Just like that. I'm sure you guys do the same thing, right? Because I don't feel like typing.
Yeah, totally.
Come back over here. Let me change the background image again. Here's the one. See, I found it. Here's all the E's. There we go. So now I come over here and do my slideshow in here with that picture right there. Remove this, remove, and then I bring in my image gallery. Resize it the way I want it, just like that. Close. Now I have this, and then we're just going to do all of our slides of our images in here. So over here, I would have like a hamburger like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's set the animation.
Nice.
So in this example, if you're doing multiple images, you would do from 0 to
2 seconds.
Let's say if you want to do that. And then fade in, fade out. And then for the next one, you just do another picture of a hamburger here. I'll do this guy right here. And you do... So as this one's fading out, you want this one to fade in, so you do like 3,900.
Yeah, yeah.
And we'll take this one to 8,000. Not dashes. 1,000. And we're going to do fade in, fade out. And let's see if I can actually play this. Oh, there goes the switch. See, I'm not patient enough.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So you guys can imagine some of the cool things that you could do with this. All right, let's take a few questions here, and then we can get out of here.
I would love it to rotate anything. That would be awesome. Burgers, cars, fries, salads, you name it. That's awesome.
No updates on Captivatrio. We were finishing up this project here. No, it's never going to be responsive because we're slowly moving into a place in the world where touching things is bad. So it's a totally non-engagement type of device. And plus, you don't want to have it where a device is bringing in content from a different URL. So if somebody clicks on something, it's going to just open up the browser. It's just going to be a mess. Be a total mess. So use QR codes and words to get your point across.
Yeah, direct. That way you direct them to where you want them to be. You direct them to your PWA or your mobile landing page, your coupon, your directory. You're directing them. It's just like a billboard.
Exactly. So whatever device you're using. So when I took my picture, you seen it was short on the top and bottom. This is it right here. That's because I had this set for 1080. This picture, this background, this animation, everything that's involved in this menu is all 1080p. So it's not going to fit on a 4K TV. What we can do, can't make it responsive because when you can't make something responsive because they're not in equal distribution from 1080p into a 4K. I think it's like it's 3x.
Right. Well, I mean,
so we could add the ability to do a zoom. We could do a pre-zoom of the field to maybe a 1080p will fit onto a device, but we're not doing anything that involves responsiveness.
Right.
Not
because responsive correlates to a URL, whether you're viewing it on your desktop or your mobile. This is not that. This is a digital display. It's very different from a site or a PWA or whatever you want to call it. Very different. So it's like if you had a billboard, and the billboard was, I'm going to put this billboard on the side of the highway and I'm going to paint it. Well, the billboard is a specific size. You can't just say, well, rebuild the billboard to be this size. No, you're buying billboard space, and the billboard on the side of the highway is this size. So whatever you want to put on this billboard has to be this exact size to fit on this billboard. So it's a digital billboard. So it's easy to build. It's easy to change the dimensions. A lot more effective than trying to, paint a billboard that's a specific dimension or roll whatever they do, like wallpaper now. So it's very different. You have to look at it as a billboard on the side of the road that is a specific dimension versus using a website or a mobile app that needs to be responsive depending on whether you're using your phone, tablet, or desktop to look at it. So this is an impressive piece of machinery so that you can determine the exact size that you need for the billboard. So look at it look at it through those eyes,
right.
if you would.
All right, to get this to display on a TV that is not a smart TV, it's going to require Chromecast. So how you do it is you go on your computer anywhere in your house, it's Wi-Fi. You're going to connect that Chromecast to the same Wi-Fi. And then when you go to the URL, which is this here, there's this little thing that pops up in Google Chrome. It allows you to stream whatever you're watching or looking at to your television.
Yeah, or you can use a Fire Stick. You can use Fire Stick, Chromecast, Roku, Apple TV, any amount of streaming devices, and just plug them into your TV.
Right. Well, so let's say it's not in the budget to have smart TVs. Well, Chromecasts I think are like $14 a piece now.
Yeah, they're super cheap. You can get a Roku for like $12. You can get, a Fire Stick is cheap. I mean, they're all, Fire Stick, Roku, Apple TV, they're all cheap. Like, you can just throw them in there, no big deal. It's super simple. So any TV can become a smart TV, like literally overnight for pennies.
Exactly. And I've seen this. I've seen a cheaper version of this Chromecast at Walgreens for $14. Serve the same purpose.
My kids actually have a 10-year-old computer monitor in their room for TV because it has an HDMI input, and I just have a Fire Stick plugged into it. And so though it's a monitor with no speakers, no nothing, it syncs up to the Alexa little speaker they have, the Fire Stick plugged into it, and they have full, and even they just verbal, they're like, Alexa, play this, Alexa, do that. Full control off a monitor that is 10 years old and is not smart, to say the least. So yeah, it's an easy workaround. It's very simple, very simple.
All right, so let's look at this real quick. Look at a picture. Digital menu. I've seen a picture of it today. Let me see if I can. Multiple displays at a restaurant. All right, so we have this example right here, right? Each one of these is a television, right? And it's flipped on its side.
Yep.
To do this, you would need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Either 5 smart TVs or 5 cheaper end TVs with 5 Chromecasts.
Yes.
On your computer, you would go to each URL, and they will appear. So, thank God my son is not on his TV right now. His would show up. Also, my family room one. But any smart TV or Chromecast or Roku device will show up. And all you do is you go start casting, and then F11 full screen. Actually, what I do is move the tab over to another screen, F11, and now you have them all running at the same time. As long as that computer is running, that digital menu will constantly be alive.
Yeah.
Should video frames be embedded like a Cairo showing stretching or a dentist showing proper ways to brush your teeth?
Sure, why not?
Do that with a GIF too.
Yeah, do a GIF, right?
Yeah, well, I'll talk to the programmer about adding that. It probably would involve adding an MP4 because obviously we don't want to keep pulling in this constant bandwidth from a certain source and make the device reliant on the internet. We don't want to do that. So obviously there probably would be limits to that because there's only so much data that can be stored into a device.
Yeah, I would just do slides and then a QR code that would lead them to a full tutorial video on YouTube or something.
Correct. Any update on the City of Vista thing? Are they still deciding on a winner?
Well, yeah. So I mean, it's a hard sell. So they went with, um, the incumbent, as it were. So they were losing, their particular service provider, and the service provider decided that they were not, going out of business, and they were going to stay in business, and so they stuck with the incumbent, and that's what happened. Even though the incumbent is inferior and their product is inferior and everything is inferior, that's what they stuck with. But I still have, high hopes that they will realize, after looking at everything I brought to them, that, the incumbent, service provider is, weak, to say the least, and par for the course, which was very interesting. To give you an update, last week, so we have a Vons, and a Vons, for those that are, I don't know where you're at because everyone's from all over, but a Vons is a major grocery store, like a Albertsons or a Kroger or a Pavilions, or I mean, you guys can throw out some names that, like, what's a main grocery store out there, Ed, in Michigan? Myers, or a Myers, a major grocery store. And so a major grocery store here in Vista, closed its doors 2 weeks ago. And it has the entire, community up in arms, because many people relied on that grocery store for their life, for everything. Like, the next closest grocery store literally requires a vehicle to get to it, and a lot of local people were like, I have no way of getting groceries now. I have no way of getting anywhere. And they were tapping into what was the, communications services. And they couldn't get any legit communication as to how to remedy their situation. And there was no information available. And I sat back, and though I felt bad for these people that were like, I used to walk to the grocery store. Now, and I don't have a car, and I don't have a license, and I don't have this, and I don't have that. Now I have to literally take an Uber 3 miles away to the nearest grocery store. I'm screwed. And their communication system didn't offer any sort of solutions or resolutions or opportunities. So it might, backfire on them and give me another opportunity at grabbing the task. And the incumbent was using some, staple industry standards, like, Salesforce, and some other things that are kind of like way overpriced, higher end, like communication tools that don't really do anything. But, my foot's still in the door, and it got the attention of the Chamber of Commerce, especially on my, passport system. So we'll see where it goes from there. But again, I default to the fact that when you deal with large entities, it is an arduous task, an arduous process, and it goes through a lot of legal channels that can, tie you up in muck for months and years with zero results. Which is why, even though I went for it because I had nothing to lose and everything to gain, your bread and butter, I promise you, is to stick with mom and pops and not go for large, chains or large companies or large, cities or counties or what have you, because there's just a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of red tape, and lawyers get involved.
Might be a little bit of payola there, it sounds like, too.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like, there's a lot of back end going on, and so I promise you, if you stick with the mom and pops, you're gonna get them and knock them down one by one at 15, 25, 50, $100 a month, one by one by one by one, and within your community, you're going to end up with 100 to 1,000 clients and be very, very well off, versus trying to get the whale, which it really feels good to land a whale. But again, I put 3 weeks of work, effort, and energy into trying to land this whale, and it didn't result. And if I would have put the same amount of effort and energy that I spent on that whale in those 3 weeks on mom and pops, I probably would have landed 100 mom and pops. So that's perspective. Like, I'm like, man, I put so much effort and energy into this. If I would have done the
Once
same effort and energy into just going to my local shops, they would have all signed up, and I would have been way better off. So, hindsight is 2020, but that's my perspective on that. What were you gonna say, Ed?
All that work you did is now can be shown off to anybody.
Right, exactly. Like I have awesome demonstrations that I can present to people and show to people, and it really flattened the learning curve for me on a lot of our product, and just made me so proficient in certain things that like I could execute a contract for someone to give them a mobile landing page, whether it be a business card or a PWA, with a video chat bubble that has a video funnel of their basic Q&As, and I can build that out in a single day and make $1,000 with a residual of anywhere from $50 to $500 a month, because I just really get it and understand how to present it now. So that was the benefit of that. And that being said, and I'll give you guys updates on it. I've contacted a certain service that might be moving these services that we present in a certain direction, and I might start landing some clients through this service. So we'll see what happens, and I'll keep you updated.
So for those of you that missed like the first 5 minutes, the reason we made this program is for these digital table tents that are new to the industry. That was brought to our attention by Doug Weeb, and also for digital menus, which I'm showing you here. Digital menu on a wall that normally you find at a restaurant, like that. All that stuff can be made with our program.
Yeah, I mean most of the people that are doing that have literally bought a monitor and all they're displaying is a JPEG, and that's it.
Exactly, that's all it's doing. That's all it's doing. All right, we gotta get out of here. It's almost 10 after.
Oh.
Thanks for everybody hopping on. We're gonna add some more features here.
Yeah.
Ability to add squares, circles, shapes to make things a lot easier, and also to send things to the forward and back with a right click. You gotta click on an element, send it to back, bring it forward, just kind of like how you do in like Photoshop or a similar program. But with that said, Keith, I'll go ahead and let you
Man, peace, love, and hair grease, everybody. Keep going, and going.
What he said. All right, take care, guys.